up guys, welcome back to Cool Fred's Beamer Tech. Cool Fred's Beamer Tech is a video repair vlog series that I kicked off earlier this year that highlights me working on BMWs. So I've been in the automotive field for a long time, but I specialize in working on BMW. I've been doing it for 17 years. Master certified, ASC certified, all that good stuff. So if you guys are stopping by the channel for the first time, consider subscribing. If you like any of the content, smash that like button, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. I said subscribe twice now, but that's all good. But a little bit about me. My name is Alfred, better known as Cool Fred. So today I got a 4 series that I'm working on. Gonna fix some coolant repairs and do a wire harness repair to the connector on the expansion tank, or for the expansion tank for the level sensor. So just want to send a special shout out to my 71 subscribers. I want to try to grow the channel to 100 subscribers, and from there my next level is to try to hit 250. So if you guys like the videos, like the content, smash that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. So without further ado, we're gonna get into this next project. All right, so here's the next project right here. So this is a 2016 428i. It has it's the N20 4-cylinder engine in here. So this client brought me this car. I checked it out for him, I want to say about a week and a half ago. So he's complaining about a little bit of coolant loss. So I'm gonna let this thing cool down for a little bit. I'm gonna put my fan on it, let it cool down. But basically what's going on is I pressure tested the cooling system. This is too hot to take off right now. I have to let it cool down. But it's got a coolant leak down here. You can kind of see where it's traces of coolant been leaking around there. Probably a little tricky to see, but I'm putting my light on here in a little bit. So the level's right there, so it looks like it's been holding up pretty good so far. But yeah, it's seeping a little bit of coolant past the electrical connection down here, and there's also a little bit coming out of the radiator cap due to the worn out seals on the radiator cap. All right, so I got my fan on this car. I'm gonna let it cool down for maybe a good 10-15 minutes before I start working on it. We normally refer to this as rapid cool down. So this does work. You know, you can just put a fan. This right here is a blower style fan. You can just put it under the hood. And especially if you're doing any coolant repairs, or you're doing spark plugs or something like that, you could throw a fan on it and let it cool down for a good 10-15 minutes, and it will be maybe a little bit above room temperature. So it's probably about 75 to 80 degrees outside right now, but it'll be somewhere, it will cool down somewhere, you know, like less than 100 degrees. So it'll probably get down about 90 or something, but it would be at a good working temperature, so where it's safe to work on the on the vehicle. So a little bit about this car. This right here is this is, like I mentioned before, it's a 2016 428i. It's a 4 series. This is pretty much the first generation of the 4 series, but this car pretty much evolved from the 3 series coupe. So it's pretty much the successor to the E92 coupe. This right here is an F32, so it's based off the F30 sedan, which is the 3 series sedan. And they also have a 4 series Grand Coupe and some other cars. So the 2 series and the 3 series and the 4 series are all pretty similar. They share a lot of the engine and electronics. This particular engine right here is the N20 4-cylinder. So this engine when they started making this series of cars, this engine right here replaced the naturally aspirated inline 6, the N52. So this right here, basically in a smaller package of a turbo 4-cylinder engine, you get lighter weight from the engine. You get about pretty much almost the same horsepower and increased torque. So this thing right here has about somewhere between, I want to say it's somewhere around 240 horsepower, somewhere around 250 foot-pounds of torque. So, and it's got a pretty good torque curve from like the lower RPMs. I don't know exactly what it is, but I want to say it's somewhere maybe around maybe 1800, like 15 to 1800, all the way up to like 4500 RPM. It has a pretty steady torque curve. So over the naturally aspirated inline 6-cylinder, I think they made anywhere between 215 and 230 horsepower. And I want to say there was a F10 5 series, the first year 2011. There's an F10 5 series that came with the N52T. So that was pretty much the last of the naturally aspirated 6-cylinder, the inline 6s. So there was that. There was the 5 series, and then there was the X3. So for the first model year before they start putting these N20s in, they were the last cars to get the naturally aspirated 6-cylinder. So this engine's pretty decent. It makes decent horsepower, decent torque. I want to say they are maybe a tad bit noisy because you hear the high pressure pump and the injectors and stuff. But they even have another engine that just replaced this one some years back, which is the B series. So you got the B46 and the B48. So, but yeah, this is a very desirable car. A lot of the ladies like it. It's a favorite. It's a favorite amongst the ladies. They really like these cars. So 428i coupe. So he's got the parts that we're going to be using right here on the seat. Grab those out of here. So we're going to check out the parts in a minute that we're going to be using for this job. All right, guys. So I'm still letting the car cool down. So the fan's a little bit noisy, so I'm trying to talk a little bit louder. But we're gonna talk about some of the parts we got for this bad boy. So I always strongly urge my clients or customers, when you're dealing with a BMW, you want to try to get the best parts that you can. So Bayer is one of the parts manufacturers. They make radiators and things like that for BMW. I'm not sure if they make the expansion tank. They probably do, but they're a good reputable parts supplier. So in here you can see the expansion tank. So this little triangle area here, that's like, if you I'm trying to get, yeah, that's like where the level that you should put it at. So the level sensor kind of built in there. You kind of see the little funny looking thing with the two things sticking up. That's the level sensor. So a lot of times with these expansion tank, what'll happen, we'll see the one when I pull it out. But typically what happens is they'll leak or seep coolant around this electrical connector here, and you get coolant around the connector and the connector harness. So another thing we got here, so we got a good quality part right here as far as the expansion tank. And this one comes with the bracket, because this air box here, this little bracket kind of fits over this air box. So we got that. So let me see. This thing, Kind of see if it's cooled down. So it kind of cooled down, but you can see right here this greenish residue here. That's where like this radiator cap, like you see those seals have gone bad. So this radiator cap is seeping right here in that area there. So you can see that. So we know the radiator cap is bad. All right, so we got a new radiator cap from Valleco. So I've gotten parts from this company before, so I mean it pretty much looks like the same cap, got the same warning markings and things like that on there, so that's pretty good. And another thing we got is this connector wire harness repair kit. So that's the part number right there if you guys are interested or have to replace this. And so I'll open this up and show you guys what's in the kit. All right, so right here we got the wire harness repair kit. So it comes with everything you need to basically in some cases you can either wire this thing all the way up to the module that it goes to. In this car I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure if that's I think this car has like a FEM or something like that, the front electronics module. But we're pretty much just gonna cut a section out of it. That's what I'm gonna do, cut a section out of it. And we're gonna splice in these butt connectors, and I'm gonna tape it up real nice with some of this harness tape I got. So I got some Tessa tape. You get this stuff on Amazon. It's real good. It's pretty much the same. Actually, it's the same exact quality that pretty much all the German manufacturers use to wire up their harnesses. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm probably gonna get me a little swig of water or something real quick, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get started. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna go and get started on this bad boy. So I might leave the radiator cap on because I'm gonna try to. I got a little drain pan over here, so go ahead and get this air box out of the way. This little nipple here on this air box. Gotta be kind of careful with that because those things like to tear off of there. So. Alright, so I finally found my screwdriver so I can finally get this clamp right here out of the way. And it's a little noisy, but I had to turn my fan on. It's kind of hot. There's some hot Georgia weather down here. So it's probably like 80, 85 degrees outside. So let's see here. So pretty much when you take these air boxes out of here, this little grommet likes to stay with the air box. So I just pop it back off and put it back over here in place. So it goes right there. So I'm just gonna put that back where he goes. And let me see, I was trying to see if I saw if we could see where the coolant is coming through that connector at. Alright, so what I'm going to attempt to do is I'm gonna try to use these hose clamp off pliers to kind of block off this lower radiator hose here. So hopefully that'll So hopefully that'll reduce the spillage when I get ready to pull that tank out. So this right here is just a little quick release clip. So pull that out and kind of be gentle. So a lot of times you gotta be careful with these hoses right here, because these little nipples, they like to break. So that's always a neat tip. And there's a couple little catches right here. So there's two little catches right in there. So I'm gonna pry those out with my pocket screwdriver. Or maybe I could probably use this little hook here. So kind of do like that. So, and that just pulls up and out. So see if I can get this connector off. Alright, so I'm gonna show the connector real quick. So this is the connector right here, and that little green stuff right there, that's like where, I'm trying to zoom in a little bit. It's kind of crazy because I got my little remote that I'm zooming in with. But yeah, it's got a little coolant crust right there on the connector. It's not bad, but you want to try to, around your electrical connectors and switch connectors, you want to try to keep those things maintained, because in some instances coolant, and then like your oil pressure switches and things like that, or let's say that was a coolant temperature sensor that did that. So if it goes to a main modular computer, the oil and water can travel through with the current through the wire and get to the computer and short the computer out in some cases. So it's always good to stay on top of you know, if you have an issue like that, because basically what's happening is coolant is like leaking through this connector here. So that's why I'm gonna replace that end. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing off of here, get this disconnected. So that might be a little bit too big. So I'm just gonna use a pocket screwdriver to get the bad boy out of here. Use this clip. Hey, you don't want to come over here. There we go. So I'm just gonna pry that bad boy off of there, and there we go. So my plan, I took it off like this. I got that hose right there clamped off, and basically I'm covering this port right here up with my finger, and I'm gonna bring it over here to this drain and just let the coolant drain in there. But right here on the bottom side of this expansion tank, you can see where the coolant is leaking through those sensor pins like I was talking about. So I'm letting the coolant drain right here into this little bucket. So that's pretty much like one way you could do this without making a big old mess. And also when I get ready to top off the coolant, I won't have to top it off very much, and I probably won't have to. I will do the electronic bleed let the electric water pump bleed the cooling system. So I'll do that, but it's a little bit less. Makes it easy repair with less work. So that keeps me from spilling a whole bunch of coolant everywhere by just clamping this lower hose off. So next up, what I'm gonna do is go ahead and repair this wire here. So I'll take a few pictures for the client. So during my repairs, I normally take a few pictures, and sometimes I'll take a video for the client, so they can see what's going on. All right, so pretty much I got all brought all my tools over here real quick. So try to get this bad boy knocked out. So I pretty much just try to trim this old harness back. Get this here. So that won't be a very good day if I lose those. So those things are pretty tiny. But they give us these heat shrink here. So when they shrink down, these are like the BMW universal ones. You know, they go over the wire and shrink down, but they're kind of a little bulky. So, because when I'm done, I'm gonna try to have this harness looking more like a factory harness, so you can't even tell it's been even repaired. So these are the butt connector ends right here. These little small pieces that I'm gonna splice in, and then I'm gonna put some of this like heat shrink over it right here, so this shrinks down a little bit nicer. It's more slim and no profile, so that's what I'm gonna use to get this bad boy heat shrink down. So I'm gonna cut a couple of pieces. All right, and then gotta grab my heat gun. So it's a good old Harbor Freight heat gun. Got this on the coupon. So this right here will do real good. I've been repairing wires with this thing right here for probably good 6-7 years. So I'm gonna start with this brown wire pin 1. Probably cut them off about somewhere like that. All right, so in here repairing these wires. Trying to get at a good angle because I don't want to put any pressure on that coolant hose. So pretty much what I'm doing, I'm checking out a new pair of crimpers I ordered for around the house. So these are from I Crimp. I think they're from iSwiss or iWis. It's a company on Amazon. So they're very similar to my crimpers I use at work, but I wanted something at home that I can crimp stuff with too. So they seem to be working out pretty good. So these are actually one of the pairs I use at work. These are from Coolant. So they do pretty good. One neat thing about them is when you open and close them, they kind of, instead of opening kind of like scissors, they kind of put even pressure on the on what you're crimping. And these I got from Amazon are pretty much the same way. They're very similar. So they even got this little latch right here on these. And also what I like about these are spring loaded. So these right here are not. So I do like these being spring loaded. So far they seem to be crimping pretty good. So that's the brown wire. So the next thing, I just gotta figure out how long I want to run the wire. So pretty much I just, like on this harness here, I'm gonna cut off a section probably like right here, maybe. So it may be a tad bit longer. I would like to make it shorter, but I didn't feel like peeling back this tape. I could peel a little bit of it off, but they got it taped pretty good. So I'm just gonna cut it. And I'm not sure what I'm gonna use the rest of this wire here for, but I guess I'll hold on. I guess it'll work out for something. That's what I normally do at work. So the brown goes to the brown, the black goes to the black. Pretty simple. So nice style factory connector in. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna roll my heat shrink over here like that. And then I could probably cut it a tad bit shorter, but I'll just, I might cut it off just a little bit. Because the main thing, this heat shrink's a little long. You want to have enough room between here and the rest of your stuff to be able to. So here we go. So this is kind of the tricky part here, because you kind of gotta hold on to this while you grip onto this at the same time. So I gotta get this tool set up. So that's there. There we go. I got that crimp. I always give it a little tug to make sure it's not gonna come out. And then I gotta crimp the area where the insulator is. So here we go. Let's see, make sure I got this bad boy the right way. Here we go, upside down. There we go right there. So that's crimped up real nice. So I'm gonna put that right there, and I'm gonna heat shrink that down, and then I'm gonna cut the other one and do the other one. All right, so next up what I'm doing, I'm gonna Gonna heat shrink this wire down. And then it's time to do the second wire. So I'm pretty much just gonna cut it off about the same. Pretty much about the same now. So there we go. And this is the old connector. Alright, so probably a little tricky to see. Reposition the camera so we can check it out real quick. But my main reason for using the heat shrink is it just takes up a little bit more space. See, two of these next to each other right here would have been a little bit too bulky. And I mean, it depends on where the wire is at. I do use these from time to time, especially on some of the bigger wires. It just depends on where it's at. But it's just when you go to wrap the connector, I mean the wires, to make it look neat. Because like pretty much the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna wrap it up with this Tessa tape to make this harness just look, you know, like a factory harness. Now this one is a little bit longer. I could have made it a little bit shorter, but it's not gonna hurt anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up real quick and show you guys what the finished product looks like. Alright, so here we go. So this is our this is the finished product right here. So got this in here, got this connector in here. So it pretty much looks like a part of the factory harness. You can hardly tell, except for it being maybe a little bit longer. You can hardly tell that, you know, there's any difference. All right, so got the wire repair done for the connector, so ready to go back together. So pretty much everything just goes back, clips in, pretty much plug and play. Alrighty, so to go back together, that's our new expansion tank. I like to spray a little glass cleaner on the inside the hoses to kind of lubricate those O-rings, kind of make it easier for them to snap and clip in. So go ahead and plug in the level sensor here. That's kind of weird. So there's it's a little purple thing in here, like a little key. This is my first time kind of seeing this, because most time this connector is already pre-built, but it wasn't snapping in. So what I'm gonna do is take my pocket screwdriver and just kind of push this right here in, because I was like wondering why it wasn't going in there. But that's the lock to the connector. Because on some connectors like tail lights and things like that, you may have to crimp the connectors and put the ends inside the housing, but this is not the case on this one. But it's my first time seeing one that was unlocked out of the package. So let me set this thing back up here. Alrighty, so here we go, round 2. Alright, so gonna connect this thing. So there it goes. You just plug it in there till it snaps. So just gonna take a picture of that real quick. All right, so this baby is going in. Sometimes I like to double check these connectors because sometimes they don't like to clip in all that smooth. So I guess this one is in there. So that's in there. Alright. So that's in. Let me show you. Let's see here. There we go. Go ahead. Get my clamp off of there. There it is. So all right, it's in there. We'll go ahead and top the coolant off. So I brought my vacuum bleeder just in case, but looks like I'm not gonna need it for this job. Since I clamped the hoses off, we didn't lose a whole lot of coolant, so I'm just gonna top it off like this. And I'm gonna let the car bleed itself. I'm going to put the air box in so I don't throw any codes. Because the airflow, the air mass meter is disconnected. Alright, so air box is in there. I'm just letting the cooling system bleed. Okay, this one got the electric coolant pump. Alright, so I'm getting the cooling system bled on this bad boy. And this thing is ready to roll on down the road. So I'm gonna check to see if I gotta top the coolant off in a little bit. And so I add a little bit. But thank you guys for checking out Cool Fred's Beamer Tech. Until next time. So you guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. So let me know what you guys think.